let's take a look at this together. All right. We are looking at our different theorems, okay? And there's technically 4 of them. Probably there's only going to be 3 of them on the quiz, and it should be obvious by the end of this little thing which 3 I'm emphasizing on the quiz. So we've got twice differentiable functions f and g. They're up there, are defined for all real numbers. We've got the values of f prime, and g for various values of x are given in the table. Okay. It says oh, good. It's always nice when the internet blips, isn't it? Let me see if I can get it to. Oh, good. Now I'm blacked out. There we go. It won't let me. It shows the code, but it doesn't show me anywhere to type in the code on my machine. That's nice. Couldn't find. I don't like the new. It disconnects way more than the old one did. Couldn't connect. Let's try this again. Connect. It won't even bring it up. Let's try this. Input. I turn it off with that input and then turn it on to it again. We'll see if it resets it. It's still showing that. Connect. I can do 623 or 624. Oh, the receiver pairing was unsuccessful. Please wait. There it goes. Okay, now let's see if the pin number comes up. 0811. Okay, here we go. Let's try that again. All right. So we have the twice differentiable functions. All the data is in the table. It asks us, do the data in the table support the conclusion that f of t is equal to 19 at some time t with the t between 4 and 8? Give a reason for your answer. Okay, so you're going to have to fill in a sentence frame. It's really important that you try the Otis assignment. We're going to do the sentence frame here, but that way you know exactly where you have to fill in blanks, okay? And kind of have some practice with what goes in the blanks, okay? So it's really important that you take that time on your own and do that, all right? So there were 4 theorems that we were dealing with, okay? They are, and I'm going to kind of do I've assumed you've done all of this stuff and we're just like doing one at that we know all this stuff, okay? So there's IVT, MVT, roles, and EVT, okay? So we need to go through and we need to determine which one we have, okay? So we usually start with what is it that we have to begin with, okay? So I notice I have f of t to begin with, all right? IVT, it's the same, okay? MVT means I need to have the information like one less. So like I need to have the derivative, okay? So IVT we'd have to have the information for f. MVT and roles, we would need the information for f prime. So we can't do a whole lot on eliminating, okay? EVT, I don't remember, hang on. EVT, it's not going to be EVT. So this is the one that's not going to be on the quiz. So we're not going to do extreme value theorem on this one. We're going to that'll get tested on the next stuff. All right, so what I'm going to look at is I'm going to see if when I compare on my just original function, if I have values that surround 19. If I have values that surround 19 when I am at 4 and 8, it's probably IVT, okay? If I don't have that, then I'm going to go to MVT or roles, all right? So I'm looking in the row with F, and I'm looking at the t equal to 4 and the t equal to 8. Is 19 between those two numbers, 16 and 33? Yep. So that means we have an IVT problem. Okay. All right. So what is the answer to these always? Do the data support the conclusion? What's the first thing? Yes, it's always yes. Okay. Never going to give you one that's no. College Board isn't going to get, because they want you to see you apply the theorem. If we said no, you would never apply the theorem, and that's not the point. Okay. All right. The way that the sentence frame goes on the quiz is it says due to the, and that's where you put the theorem, and you can just type the abbreviated name. IVT is fine. Okay. Since, all right, we have to know that, oh, interesting, it doesn't show. Technically, we have to show, for IVT, we have to show that it's continuous, right? My sentence frame doesn't allow for it to say it's differentiable and continuous. So remember that differentiable means what? It's also continuous, right? It implies that it's continuous. My sentence frame just says continuous, since it is continuous. So if I give you like some scratch work off to the side, I would write this down on it, okay? So that you're showing me you understand that part. Okay, I'll give you a little scratch page off to the side. All right, then you have to state the interval. Yeah. Yes, thank you. Since f is continuous. F is continuous. Thank you for helping me make the sentence right. That probably just needs more speed. Let me just redo that. Since f is continuous. All right, then we got to state the interval. On. What's my interval? Yeah, and I can either write it like that. Probably what it's going to auto grade in Otis is interval notation. I usually switch it to that. Okay. If you type this, it's not wrong. On the quiz, I would keep it. I would take it. Okay. All right, and then I need to talk about my the information I got out of my table. Okay, so I basically want to show that my values are either less than or greater than the number they wanted. So we know that f of 4 is f of 4 bigger than 19 or smaller than 19? Smaller. So we would write less than 19. And f of 8 was my other value, right? Is that bigger than 19 or smaller than 19? Bigger. So greater than 19. There is a C such that, and then you're just going to want to, you're basically restating this. F of t equals 19. Okay. Okay. Oh, I remember now. I totally messed up on this part. Because I'm looking at the next question. And I'm going, oh, that makes more sense now. We could have probably told IVT right away. For MVT or rolls, we actually need one up. Okay. So we don't have, so if it was in derivative, for MVT and rolls, I would need the information for the original function. Okay. Because this one was in the original function, there's nothing above the original function, right? I can't go, there isn't like something that makes, so that's why these two get crossed out, is because we didn't have anything above the original function. All right, that'll make more sense when we look at this one here. Okay. All right. In number 2, it says explain why there must be a value C for between 1 and 8 such that f, and this is a double prime of C equals 0. Okay. So we've got IVT, MVT, and rolls. We're not going to see any EVTs. Okay. All right. And I did use F. I'm looking at what I did before here. Okay. So for IVT, remember it has to match. Sorry about that. It has to match. So I would need the information for F double prime. For MVT and rolls, I have to go one up. One above the second derivative is the first derivative. So I need the information for the first derivative in the table. Okay. Do I have the information for second derivative in the table? No. So it has to be either MVT or rolls. Okay. Typically, we use Rolle's theorem when it is equal to 0. So is it equal to 0? Yes. So it's got to be Rolle's theorem. So we're not. So that's why MVT gets knocked out. Okay. All right. Basically, I need to know in order to prove Rolle's theorem that there are two places, typically with these endpoints, that they're equal to each other. Okay. So we have to. So let's look at F. It's F prime of 1, and I need to find F prime of 8. We'll see if I did my table right. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my table. F prime of 1, what is it equal to? -2. And what's F prime of 8 equal to? Oh, good, my table's right. All right. As long as those two come out to be the same, we know Rolle's theorem applies and works. And we basically can say that, yes, there's a place where the slope is equal to 0. Okay? So this is the sentence frame. Okay? So this one says, due to Rolle's theorem, since F prime is Rolle's theorem, again, you have to show that it's both continuous and differentiable. What word takes care of both of those? Differentiable. So F is differentiable, and we had that as part of our original stem of the problem. All right, you have to list your interval. I'm going too fast. Sorry. Let me make sure you're caught up. All right, what's the interval I'm on? 1 to 8. Again, what I have in Otis to auto grade is parentheses. Okay. If you write it the other way, it doesn't matter. It's fine. I may go in and fix that for the quiz, but not on the review. It's already written. All right, and then I have to write out these two pieces of information. Okay, F prime of 1, that's a 1, equals -2. That was just an extra mark that showed up, not a negative sign. And F prime of 8 equals -2. There is a C such that, and then we write the conclusion. F double prime of C equals 0. Keep writing, then I'm going to make one quick comment about something in there. Okay, technically it does not matter the order you do these two things in. Okay, however, when you're looking at doing this on the review assignment, it's always going to go from the smallest one first to the biggest one second, the smallest x value to the biggest one. Okay, so if you're getting marked wrong, that might be what your issue is. Okay. All right, you good with Rolle's theorem? Okay. All right, let's take a look at number 3 here. Okay, so it asks, is there a time t between 4 and 6 at which g prime of t equals 2? Justify your answer. What's the answer? Yes, there is. We can write that in right to begin with, right? So it's definitely yes. But I need to figure out what theorem I am working with here. So I write down IVT, MVT, Rolle's. Okay. All right. What are we originally starting with? What function are we starting with? G prime. So for IVT, we would need G prime. For MVT, we need, and in Rolle's, we go up 1. Do I have the information for G prime in the table? Nope. So it's not IVT. Is that making sense? Okay, good. All right, so it's either MVT or roles. The quick way to check roles is to go check these endpoints and see if the numbers are the same, right? So that, and then that kicks roles out of it. So I'm going to look at G, and I'm going to look at these numbers. Are they the same? No, so roles is out. Okay, it also doesn't say that it's equal to 0, right? It says it's got to be equal to 2, so it's not equal to 0. So definitely confirms that it's MVT. Okay. Remember, mean value theorem is showing us that we have to prove that the slope equals this instantaneous rate of change. Okay, so IROC has to equal AROC. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do my slope calculation off to the side there, okay, using those X and Y values, okay? So off my side work is Gx. I'm just double checking to make sure this works, okay? So G prime of T equals, the Y values would be, it's supposed to be 6, not 8. Thank you. Because I'm looking at the one over here, I had a different number, so I picked the wrong thing. Thank you, though. All right. Still, the numbers aren't equal, right? All right, so we're going to do, my Y values are going to be 12 minus 8 over my X values, 6 minus 4. And again, this is kind of just scratch work off to the side. I'm making sure that this is really working and Mrs. Ballard isn't leading me down the wrong path, or the College Board. All right, what's 12 minus 8? 4, and 6 minus 4? 2. So what's my slope? So did it work? Yeah, we got what we wanted. We wanted it to be 2. Okay. All right, so we're going to go ahead and make our concluding little sentence, fill in our sentence frame. Okay, so yes, due to mean value theorem, MVT. It was interesting. Andy was all excited because he's scored really high on his last whatever map test or whatever. So it's put him up really high in whatever they use, eSparks, something called eSparks. If you have elementary student siblings, you know what that is. But he's like, Mom, I've gotten to statistics. He's like, what is that? I'm like, it's like mean and average. So I was explaining to him what the average was, and the slope is just an average, isn't it? That's all that slope is an average. We average the numbers together because it's literally 2 numbers and we divide by the number of total numbers. So anyways, sorry, that just triggered. So mean is average. All right. So due to mean value theorem, since G of T, okay, what to use mean value theorem, what does G of T have to be? What 2 things do we technically need to write? Continuous and differentiable. Which one takes care of both? Differentiable. So we're just going to say differentiable. Is differentiable. Okay. Now this one's a little bit trickier. Okay. Do you notice that the interval type changed? That it's not open, it's closed. So it has to be differentiable on a closed interval. Okay, so we have to use the brackets this time, the 4 to 6. I know the last couple days we said, oh, do everything open. This is the one instance where it has to be closed. Okay. And then there must be AT in this interval, 4 to 6, such that G prime of T equals, and then it looks weird, okay? It's going to give you a blank, a slash, and a blank, and then an equal sign and another blank, okay? What I'm trying to get you to do is to show this calculation that we did here, okay? So the top blank would be 12 minus 8. The bottom blank would be 6 minus 4. Because remember, you have to show the difference quotient. That's part of like the rules of what they're looking for. And then we can go ahead and say it's equal to 2. Yeah.
But the must should be, is it by or B?
Oh, it should be B. Thank you. The good news is that part's typed for you. Must be. a good thing I don't teach English. Okay, let's see what we got next. Okay, we got one more there. What I want you to do, okay, I think that is an F prime. So it's a single prime, okay? I want you to take a minute and see what you can do with that one. So see how far you can get in about, I don't know, a minute or two with number 4. Okay, so try it on your own. Okay, I want you to check with your table. So see with your table, do you agree on the theorem? Do you agree on kind of your sentence? Okay, take a minute and do that, please. All right, let's take a look at it together. All right, so if it was, what are we starting with?
Yes.
Okay, we know that. What function are we starting with? Yes is a good answer, so we'll start there. Okay, what function are we starting with? F prime. So that means IVT has to be F prime. What do MVT and rolls have to be? F. Good. All right. So if this is IVT, on this interval, -4 should be between it, right? So because we can't eliminate based on just what's there right now, right? So because we have all of that information. So I'm going to go back to my table. I'm going to look at 10 and 12. Is -4 between those values? No. So we would not be able to prove IVT. So that knocks that one out. Does that make sense? How to knock it out? All right. For rolls, it should be equal to what? 0. Is it equal to 0? No. So that means we need to prove that the slope is -4, which just means we're going to do some side work right now. So I know that it's probably f prime of t equals, and we've got 12 minus 10 on the bottom. And then the top is 2 minus 5. I'm looking at G. What am I supposed to be looking at? F of t, this one, right? No, up one more. Let's go up one more. And -4 is still not between those two, right? Okay, so that we're still good there. All right, we got to look at these two now. That makes much more sense. So we're going to go 8 minus 16. All right, what's 8 minus 16? -8 over 2, which is equal to, did we get what we wanted? Yeah, so it's definite. We're happy with MBT. Okay, so all we have to do is literally fill in the sentence frame now, right? So yes, due to MBT, since our function this time is, let's see, f of t, right? F of t is, what has to come next? Differentiable, right? Because we've got to show differentiable and continuous, technically. On, and then we use our closed interval from 10 to 12. There must be a, and this is still a t, in the closed interval from 10 to 12, such that, I'll let you catch up. Okay. And then we got to go f, it's f prime, right? That's what we got to use. Such that, yeah, f prime of t, that's a prime, equals, and then again, it's the box, the slash, the box, and an equals sign. Okay. All right, so the box, which is 8 minus 16, and then 12 minus 10, and then -4. Okay. All right, so what you have left to do is I have there's an Otis one out there that you can do, so you can try this all on your own without my guidance. Okay, there's another video in there to help you. I videoed this as we were doing it. I'll put that out there, so if you get lost, you've got all of that. Okay. We have about, 50? You have about 9 minutes left. You could get started on the Otis review. So go into Otis and let's look at that and see if you can figure some of those out. Well, you still have access to having me in class, okay?